Okay guys, I don't like doing these videos because especially with something that I'm doing for the first time, unless I really can give you decent advice. But I'm here, 2015 Audi A3, trying to install a Homelink kit. So let me just show you what came. I bought this off eBay, but I'm pretty sure it's just a Gentex kit, but it came with the Homelink button, the clip that goes behind the headliner, and then the actual Homelink module itself. So there's been a few parts to this. To get this whole console off, I have the owner's or the service manual, and it's of a little bit of help. But basically what you're supposed to do is wedge in it says a commercially available paint scraper, and see this clip on the side. They want you to get up over the clip and depress it, and that'll loosen it up. And then there's another clip right there, and it fits that white piece in back there, if you see that. To be honest, what I found was it was very hard to get over these clips, and they're very stiff, so good luck. And I was more afraid I would tear up my headliner. So what I was actually able to do, I just got a little cheapo tool, Harbor Freight, just a little poly scraper tool in the car section, and I wedged it up in here. You can see where the clips go. These guys, I was actually able to push it back and get these to pop down first. Now it didn't loosen it up, but then when I pulled forward on it, like towards the back of the car, towards me, it actually slid off. It just popped right out of there. Much easier. And then I could just use my fingers to kind of work this out, these clips. So I think that's a better way to do it. So as far as the Homelink kit goes, this thing's pretty simple. I apologize, this is difficult to show, but there's a connector right here, and you'll see where this wire is now split. So you've got a wire coming in down here, and it connects up here, and then that runs around here, and it splits into two pieces, one of which is tied into the Homelink kit. So it's a piggyback from, I assume it was the power mirror or whatnot, up to the Homelink kit. And so it's just borrowing a connector to give power. Now I wanted to do all this before I cut the headliner because I wanted to test it and make sure it works. It does work. So now I'm to the difficult part, which is to cut the headliner. But when you look up, this is kind of where that kit sits in back. You know, it sits right back here. So it's gonna sit up like this, hopefully, when I'm done. So that's where this was never an Audi component coming with the car. They call it a port install. So apparently they used to install these back in the day, but this was an Audi part number. I got it off eBay, but you can get the same kit online. I think ECS, not ECS. I'll put the name here. Anyway, so that's where it's gonna go. So what I'm about to do is, once I sight where it goes, I'm gonna use the clip that sits like this to trace out with a pencil. And then I've just got a razor knife that I'm gonna cut this and hope like heck it works. But I think it should be pretty tight because it just smashes between this piece and the headliner. You know, it squishes the headliner in there. So we'll see how we go. Okay, here we go. First pass. It's not gonna fit in there. I'm gonna have to trim out some more, but the biggest problem is gonna be this plastic piece. But I plan to head this way, but I want to fit it in a little bit first. Holy crap. Okay, so there you go. And if you want to see the back with the hole, it's right up there like that. So what I did, let me show you the medieval tools I used for this. Probably not the right idea, but for the initial cut, Harbor Freight, 59 cents. probably should have used something like this, but I was afraid if I couldn't use it like a pencil, I would go too far. And I just made a little outline of the bezel. Once I placed it, you know, this thing, pencil outline, it's looks like a haircut, go real slow, don't overdo it. But what I finally ended up using was my Dremel tool, which has saved me from many a mistake. And I just used that tip and just kept slowly taking out the outside. Hardest part was there's a piece of plastic up in there. See that? And I had to cut out the plastic. Otherwise you got to put it way back here, and I was worried it wouldn't fit properly. So there you go. So now I'm going to try and snap the bezel into place. Apologies that you can't watch. One thing to note on the bezel, or the little back plate, is see how there's 3 on bottom and there's 2 on top? The 2 go on top, 3 on bottom. And you can figure that out by looking at this piece at the bottom and the top. It helps stabilize it. Okay, the back plate's on there now, as you can see. Try and focus this. Hopefully you can see. Alright, now I'm going to connect the Homelink and hope it snaps into place. Alright, it's a little hard to see, but that's the Homelink up in there. The only challenge is they should have put this connector on the back instead of on the top. Because just be careful, if you go too high, you won't be able to fit it in there because it'll rub on the ceiling. I was pretty lucky. Literally lucky, because I didn't measure and know that. So there you go. All I got left is to snap this back up in place. All right, last tip. See how I pop that retainer clip out of there, and it just slides into the back of this piece right here. And much easier to put it in that way. I had to use 2 picks to pull it out of there. Just carefully popped it out, slid it in there, and now it should pop up. But these are the 2 side clips that are like impossible. And by the way, you have to do this to change your dome lights, because there's your dome lights, so it's worth it knowing all this stuff. And here's the final product after I pop this back in. Nice and clean, sturdy. Let's press this. Garage door goes up. Works good. Okay, this is the kit that I bought off eBay. You can see the circles represent the piggyback connector. So you're just disconnecting, I guess, the power mirror, plugging in the male end, and then the power mirror male plugs into that female. There's 2 Homelink connectors there. I used the one with the tag on it. It said for the high dome. They were the same. I really don't think it matters, but that's what worked for me. I think the key is to get the right part number from Audi USA for your car, and then search for that one. So this is another option from Europrice.us. It looks like it matches in the photo. It looks a little dark here, but I think it would work. It's by Homelink, and it's a Gentex. That's the company that made these. So that's another thing you might consider. I will tell you that none of them come with instructions other than how to program the Homelink. So just be aware of that. Anyway, best of luck.